Like a severe case of hemorrhoids, the FTC returns yet again to haunt Microsoft. Only this time, I don't feel like anyone should actually give Microsoft a suppository to help them with the situation. No rectal creams. This time around, I'm kinda low-key rooting for the FTC, but not really.
You turned against me!
You have done that yourself.
On one hand, what they're coming after Microsoft for, I basically agree with. But on the other hand, I begin to wonder, where in the hell is the FTC when other subscription services want to screw me over? Anyways, in case you don't know what I'm talking about, I think we should just get into it right now.
The FTC is calling Microsoft's new Xbox Game Pass standard tier a degraded product. In a filing with the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit, the FTC claims Microsoft is exercising market power post-merger of Activision Blizzard.
In this case, I would say the FTC are correct in what they're labeling this new tier of Game Pass. For $15 a month, you get none of the benefits of Game Pass. It's a tier that strikes me as odd. Like, what is the purpose of such a tier? Just for the online connection? In general, paying for online is one giant scam in of itself, and why the FTC hasn't overall investigated all console manufacturers for scamming people on that is beyond me, but you take that aside, and what Microsoft really has done with that $15 tier has actually taken away a bit of the value of Game Pass itself. Now, of course, price hikes were to be expected. Every single personality on the internet you could think of. I don't have to give you any names, but basically all of them were telling you, yeah, Game Pass, it's gonna go up in price over the years. Regardless of Activision Blizzard, regardless of Bethesda, that price was always guaranteed to go up alongside the price hikes and, well, everything else around us. What doesn't make sense, however, is creating a tier that completely strips away all the benefits of Game Pass. Now, on PC, we're not suffering from such an issue. On PC, we are getting the absolute best experience, the absolute best version of Game Pass at the lowest price. Meanwhile, on consoles, the entry point is $15 with none of the perks that come with Game Pass. Now, it's very easy in situations like this to point at every other subscription service and say, see, they are doing it too. FTC, go look over there. And you're right, the FTC should look over there. But right now, we're focusing on Microsoft and this completely pointless tier. We already know how trash PS Plus is. We know how trash Ubisoft service is. We know how trash Nintendo Online is. But don't get it twisted. Even though the FTC said a degraded quality, which I do agree with, we're not talking about enough degraded quality that people should instead go sub to another service. Even with the price hikes added on, Game Pass still holds more value than every single subscription service in gaming. Now, why Microsoft would want to undo that by creating a pointless tier is beyond me, but they basically opened themselves up for the FTC to investigate yet again.
The Federal Trade Commission writes to alert the court to Microsoft's announced price increases in the multi-game subscription and cloud gaming markets, which the district court found relevant to the merger analysis. Microsoft is raising the price for its Game Pass Ultimate product from $16.99 a month to $19.99 a month, a 17% year-over-year increase. Additionally, Microsoft is discontinuing its $10.99 a month console Game Pass product. Users of that product must pay 81% more to switch to Game Pass Ultimate.
What in the fuck?
For consumers unwilling to pay 81% more, Microsoft is introducing a degraded product, Game Pass Standard. At $14.99 a month, this product costs 36% more than console Game Pass and withholds day one releases.
I just don't want to fucking deal with it. Have another drink!
Phil.
Product degradation, removing the most valuable games from Microsoft's new service, combined with price increases for existing users, is exactly the sort of consumer harm from the merger the FTC has alleged. Microsoft's price increases and product degradation, combined with Microsoft's reduced investments in outputs and product quality via employee layoffs, are the hallmark of a firm exercising market power post-merger.
Now, I mean, of course, this was always going to happen. Like I said, regardless of any acquisition, Microsoft was always going to raise the price on you. I'm pretty sure the FTC knows that, but they want Microsoft to reopen that investigation they got their ass handed in last year. So any opportunity they can get to take Microsoft back to court to justify your tax dollars, well, they're gonna take it. But in this case, like I said, they're fighting for something that I think is actually fair. The standard for Game Pass was that it came with day one releases. That's the whole selling point of the service. So for Microsoft to create a tier that's significantly inferior is without a doubt lowering the standards. In which case, if you don't want to pay more, you actually may want to be on the FTC side on this one. I certainly don't want to pay more for anything, but at the same time, I'm not really losing my mind over $12 a month on PC. Now you're probably wondering, well, how did $1 trillion Microsoft respond to the FTC? Well,
the FTC's Rule 28 letter presents a misleading extra record account of the facts and is a continuation of the agency's attempts to reinvent its case on appeal. Earlier this month, Microsoft announced changes to its gaming subscription service, Gamepass, to provide consumers valuable options at different price points. Microsoft is offering a new service tier, Gamepass Standard, which offers access to hundreds of back catalog games and multiplayer functionality for $14.99 a month.
This is worthless.
It's less than worthless, my boy.
It is wrong to call this a degraded version of the discontinued Game Pass for console offering. That discontinued product did not offer multiplayer functionality, which had to be purchased separately for an additional $9.99 a month.
Oh, that's greasy.
That's really fucking greasy.
Yeah, it's greasy. Greasy.
While Game Pass Ultimate's price will increase from $16.99 to $19.99 a month, the service will offer more value through many new games available day and date. Among them is the upcoming release of Call of Duty, which has never before been available auto-subscription day and date. The FTC barely mentioned subscription at trial, instead of focusing on the theory that Microsoft would withhold Call of Duty from Sony's console. The district court correctly rejected that theory, which is now further eroded by Microsoft and Sony's 10-year agreement to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation, a contract Sony was thrilled to enter. While the FTC has now tried to shift focus to its alleged subscription market, its letter does not map onto its arguments below. Setting aside that it is common for businesses to change service offerings over time, the FTC's case in all of its alleged markets has always been premised on vertical foreclosure, that Microsoft would withhold Call of Duty from rivals and therefore harm competition. But even in the alleged subscription market, Call of Duty is not being withheld from anyone who wants it.
Yeah, sure. Okay, Microsoft. I mean, if that's the case, then why is Game Pass on PC significantly cheaper and has day one games and EA Plus? You really think you're going to convince anyone, including the FTC, that there's no degraded quality because, oh, hey, we charged them for online too while we're at it? No, paid online is a fucking scam. Console users taking it up the ass for that long, I don't understand. It's why companies like Microsoft can get away with doing a lot of shady shit. Its original price point was already good enough, and it didn't feel like you were screwing over your console users compared to your PC users. Not that I have a problem with it, I mean, because I told people PC's the way to go a long time ago, but, you know, it's a different story. Now, it is true that the whole FTC case against Microsoft originally started when Sony dug their big nose into Microsoft's business when it came to purchasing Activision, pleading to the FTC to stop it out of fear that they would take Call of Duty off PlayStation. That was the original premise. But that shifted into Microsoft's potential control of cloud gaming, which again wasn't nearly close to enough to deny the merger. But amongst the discussions, price increases were one of the leading concerns, where Microsoft did assure the FTC that this merger would not result in a price increase. And how Microsoft is going to get away with this is the wording I just told you right there. They will be able to get away with it on a technicality. The technicality being only the FTC can really believe they increased the price of Game Pass because of the merger, but But to prove that would be nearly impossible, as nearly every single analyst already knew the service would be going up in price over the course of a few years. How the FTC will nail Microsoft on this, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting story, but from my perspective, I think they called out Microsoft right on the spot on the correct things that the FTC should be focusing on. How these price increases could screw over consumers. See, prioritizing the consumers over the corporation, which is not what the FTC was doing last year by taking into account Sony's concerns as a corporation. Now, of course, at most, this is probably just going to result in Microsoft getting a slap on the wrist. Bad Microsoft. Don't do that again. But slowly, bit by bit, is Microsoft going to prove all of the FTC's concerns true? I mean, if it results in prices being lowered, then I'm all for the FTC doing their work. We got Microsoft to finally put Call of Duty on Game Pass, and not just Black Ops 6, Modern Warfare 3 is also coming. In an idealistic world, Microsoft wouldn't increase the price on us, but reality sets in. And well, when you face reality, then you have to look at Game Pass differently. You have to compare it to the competing services if you truly want a glimpse into what it's like to get ripped off. You know what, as a matter of fact, I think the FTC should be more invested in that. After they're done with Game Pass, I really want them to scrutinize PS Plus and Nintendo Online, because those are truly scams. Unfortunately, I mean, the FTC still has a hard-on for Microsoft from last year, where they embarrassed them in court. Not sure where this is gonna lead to, but I'm very much invested, because I do love me some FTC versus Microsoft, especially when things get a lot more interesting. And if you want to be there to see where this goes, well, then you should like, comment, share, and subscribe if you so choose to. That being said, see you in the next one.
Free Congo sucks ass.